Phillips, thank
Happy
you.
to be here.
Just the Finals MVPs hanging out at that side of the table.
That's
and
what we do.
Zach Lowe. So there you go.
Yeah, not a Finals MVP.
But Zach's excited because Summer League is the time to wear basketball T-shirts, and you're repping your college
Alma mater. Yeah, we're not very good.
And you didn't play for them.
Where's Dartmouth?
First of all, it's
Where is
Dartmouth.
it?
Second of all, it's in New Hampshire.
Dartmouth.
It's in New Hampshire.
No, I knew that. Of course I knew that.
Let's move on to Russell
Y'all got to watch
Westbrook.
this dude. He's real slick.
Russell's names in trade rumors after the Thunder traded MVP second runner-up Paul George to Dartmouth. No, they traded him to the Clippers. According to Art Tim McMahon, though, the Rockets are interested in Westbrook, but consider a trade a, quote, long shot because it would take a complex multi-team deal to get him. Zach, this is what you do professionally. Tell us where you think the best fit for him would be, and then also where you think he might actually end up.
The best fit is with a team that does not have another guy who handles the ball all the time, so I don't know how that would work in Houston. I mean, there is something to just put a lot of talent together. That's what Daryl does. I don't love it. If I had to predict a team where he ends up, I would say Miami. Miami seems to be just hungry for some shakeup. The problem is Oklahoma City now owns a couple of their picks. Do they want to give Miami a really good player? I don't know.
Right. I mean, literally, the better that Miami does, the worse it is for OKC, and that's before any trade happens.
No.
Where do you guys see
the
him?
team that's had the worst luck this year. You didn't get Zion. You didn't get KD, and you didn't get Kyrie.
To the Knicks?
No.
New York Knicks.
Why?
And what is that going to do?
Why?
Come on.
What is it gonna
Just
do?
to have some star power in New York is good for the league.
First of all, he's going
to
to need another star. That's why Jimmy
Doesn't
Butler makes a lot of
matter.
sense for him to go to Miami.
send him to the
Otherwise, stay put, play it out a year, and just see how things shake out for the
I
year.
don't want to see Russ on OKC no more.
Wow. That's it?
No.
How come?
He's going to average a triple-double this year. He's
That
going to
team is
ball.
expired.
Okay.
He's done all these camp of that franchise. Move him to the Knicks.
To the Knicks?
No way.
They need it more than anybody. Come on, they miss out
they
so
need it.
much.
They definitely need
I
it.
feel bad for them.
They definitely need it.
I truly, as much as I've been a rivalry with the Knicks from Boston, I truly feel bad for
No,
them.
I feel bad for him, too, because I love Fizz. I love Scott Perry.
Right.
Yeah.
It's been a rough summer.
It's been a rough
few weeks.
What you mean, weeks? You talk about years?
It's been a rough
20 years.
You talk about years?
Well, they were really looking forward to this summer.
Yes.
It's been a rough summer for the guys.
Absolutely. Well, we'll see what happens with Russ. I want to get you, though, to Raptors head coach Nick Nurse, because here's what he had to say about Kawhi Leonard leaving the Clippers. Take a listen.
You can't blame a guy for wanting to go home, right? That's what he texted me today. I'm going home, and I just said, you've changed a lot of lives, man, by what you accomplished in Toronto, mine especially. And thank him for what he did, and we'll look to the future, and we'll look to do it again.
Chauncey, first of all, very classy, right?
Very,
Nick Nurse
very,
to say
very.
that. What do you think of the Raptors' future? Are they in rebuilding mode, or because they have a team that just won a championship, still has Pascal Siakam and Kyle Lowry?
I don't think they need to rebuild. I just think retool a little bit. They still have some good pieces there. Talk about a guy that may be on the move. You look at maybe Kyle Lowry's situation. Maybe he wants to go to a team, a more veteran team, more team that could win. But who knows? But not a rebuild. They don't need to rebuild. They got good pieces there. They got a good coach. Masai's terrific. They'll be fine. They'll be fine.
They're a couple years from a rebuild because you got an aging Gasol, an aging Lowry. You got young Siakam. You still got Anunoby who's there, who has potential. And so, I don't know if you retool. You got to see what you can do in the next year or so. But if nothing works out this year, I look to move on from those older players and build around Siakam.
First of all, how is Nick Nurse still hoarse? You see, his voice needs a rest.
That
been
parade,
partying, man.
The parade was serious.
Second of all, they're going to have to rebuild at some point, and
Yeah.
you have to do due diligence of what is Lowry worth on the trade market, what is
Correct.
Mark worth, what is Serge worth. They're all in expiring contracts.
Yeah.
So one way or another, you're going to have to move on with cap space or assets or whatever. But I kind of think it would be fun. What was their record without Kawhi last year? It was really good. Like, they're still a good team. Take a victory lap. Let Kyle Lowry take a victory lap. Let's just have a nice year in Toronto.
Do you think that, your mentor to Kyle Lowry, I know you talked to him. Do you think that he would like to be on that team and have his victory lap, or do you think he'd like to go somewhere else?
Well, I think so. I think that Kyle's in a position right now, obviously, hate to lose Kawhi,
Right.
the guy on the team. But I think he's in a position where, listen, he got one more year on his deal. He's going to be looking for an extension at some point. But he's going to have to play well. Simply put, he's going to have to play well. Like, the job is not done yet. So there's some pressure on him to continue to keep it going.
All right, we will watch what the Raptors do. We will also be watching what the teams in LA do. Coming up, we're going to be discussing name a better duo? Well, which is the better duo? LeBron and AD or Kawhi and PG-13? Ooh. Stick with us. You're watching the show.
Too bad it's not a 2-on-2 game.
Man. Thank you so much for being back with us. We appreciate it.
Glad to be here.
All right, so he was fantastic on Friday, especially once you saw that he got comfortable, right, being near the basket. But he did have that knee-to-knee contact. So let me know how he has been feeling and what your concerns were when you saw that, because he didn't play the second half.
Yeah, he's fine. He came to us. He wasn't in great condition. And from a cardio perspective, it wasn't a great situation to begin with. So when he took that shot, really it was just from my standpoint, it was more caution than anything else to shut him down at that point, because there's no reason to push him when he was in the situation he was in.
I mean, look, Vince, you were watching him in that game. When he says not great cardio condition, I saw you nod your head.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it is. I mean, I think coming in out of college and you're enjoying the life. Now I'm in the NBA. You tend to forget. There's guys out here who are training and have you as their target. So, I mean, he's a gifted athlete, and he'll be fine. But I think he knows now, it's like, I got to be a finely tuned machine.
Well, the thing is, he hasn't played in a meaningful game since the tournament.
Yeah.
So, it's hard to duplicate that, especially coming to Summer League. Guys are trying to find a job, trying to make a team, and, they're playing high intensity. And, to go from college back in April to now, it's tough to be in that type of shape.
How do you work with Zion going forward? Because he is such a unique athlete. His frame is crazy. And if he keeps his weight and conditioning where I assume you guys want it to be, I mean, the sky's the limit for him, but you don't want injuries to set in because of weight issues. So how do you start with a guy who's never been in an NBA environment before?
And to the point they made, he did a lot of work in terms of working out one-on-none, getting shots up and doing those types of things, but that's not the same thing as playing basketball. And Aaron Nelson and his medical team with us, it's one of the big reasons that we wanted Aaron Nelson to be our VP of Performance and Player Care.
Ooh, there we go. Nice.
Big words. But he was somebody that was really important to us for this very reason, because anything that they put him through is going to put him in position to be better every day. He's going to work with the nutritionist with us. He's fully committed to all of it. Zion wants to be great.
Yep.
So once he gets into a situation where he's around that infrastructure, he's going to take to it very well.
Now, I have to say, these guys were as impressed as the rest of us with the moves that you have made since taking this job. The AD trade was just the beginning of it. That dominoed into, that dominoed into, that dominated into, and the free agent signings as well. Paul, we haven't gotten to see you since he pulled off all of this magic. What did you think?
Listen, the Pelicans are going to be one of the most exciting teams in the league to watch. They're going to be must-see TV. I mean, you got Ball, who's coming off an injury. People want to see what he can develop into. Now that the ball is going to be in his hands and not LeBron's, he can run the show. You got Zion. Ingram started to come into his own. And so, I can't wait to watch this ball club. They have a bright future.
And to add to that, I think J.J. Redick is a huge piece, because I've been saying it for the last couple of days. I said Philly's they're gonna hurt a little bit not having J.J. on the floor, because
they're gonna hurt a lot.
Floor. Yeah, I agree.
Do you expect this roster to be a playoff team?
We certainly want to compete for it. It was really important to us. First of all, Drew Holiday is the face of the franchise. And Drew has upside left in his game as well. I think he really wanted an opportunity to show what he's capable of if he's running the show.
Right.
And we wanted to build a team around his skill set, much the same way we did in Phoenix around Steve Nash. If we could put the right fit around Drew, we feel like he's got an altogether different level. Nobody expected Steve Nash to be two-time MVP when we signed him in Phoenix either. Drew takes that challenge very seriously. So what we want to be doing is playing in meaningful games in April and May, and we want to grow the young kids in an environment where winning matters.
But I look at, I've been studying what's been going on with all these trades and these roster movements. New Orleans has a great shot to make the playoffs. I mean, there's a bunch of teams that are in the same boat. I list Sacramento in there, New Orleans. I don't know who else, but those two teams right there are going to be in the race for the playoffs.
Yeah, and we didn't even talk about Derek Favors. I mean, that just gives you another big man who's been in meaningful games. So they have a lot of experience in that locker room to bring the younger guys along.
And we're excited about Derek for the same reasons in terms of fit culturally with us. But he's another kid who has a lot of upside offensively. He's an elite rim protector who was playing with another top 5 center in the NBA.
Right.
He couldn't really show what he's capable of as a straight 5. And with the fit with Alvin Gentry in our system and the pieces that we added in the AD trade, we feel like the fit is really good and should bring out the best in everyone. But you mentioned J.J. Redick. That's the piece for us that was absolutely paramount in all of this. That floor spacing is one thing. But, Vince, you know this as well as anybody. Veteran leadership in the locker room, when that veteran still has sweat equity, is invaluable to a young team.
It's funny you should mention that because Vince Carter is a free agent.
I've heard that. I've heard that.
Can you evaluate what you think Vince would bring to any team that he played for?
Well, I can tell you what he would bring to us. But
a
from
little
my perspective,
on-camera recruiting here, which is legal.
This is not tampering.
This is not tampering. He's a free agent. He's good. Go. Give your pitch.
I didn't hear nothing.
So our big thing with Vince, and I think this is true of all veterans, and you've experienced this now for several years in a row, when you go into a situation with other young players, the most important thing for you as a leader is that you're playing significant minutes. And because you're capable of doing that, the fit for him is find the team where he can do that. I hope we're that team in terms of the one you're drawn to, but in terms of knowing we have the minutes, in fairness, I don't know that I can say that.
Right.
So it's a really interesting situation for us because everything that you represent is what we're trying to build our team around.
Right, but we've talked about it for the last couple of days on this show. He plays at such a high level. Someone 10 years, 15 years younger than him, we want to see you play. We want to see you in a place you're getting those minutes.
And if you've got an 18 or 19-year-old kid in the locker room, they grew up idolizing him. So it's something where the fact that he's still playing at a high level and takes care of his body the way he does, it speaks to kids in a way that a lot of guys don't.
Absolutely. All right, so when David sat down, he asked me, he said, do you guys have a what were you thinking for me? Do I need to be ready for everything?
What did you say?
And I said we don't have a formal one, but we kind of have an informal one.
Of course you do.
Because your reaction, Griff, during Friday's earthquake was caught live on camera. I think you handled it very well, but please tell us, what were you thinking?
I thought literally the sky was falling, frankly. What had happened the day before, literally the previous morning, we had felt a quake as well.
Right.
And we were in our film session in a conference room. And I was leaning against the room divider, and I looked back, and it looked like a wave.
Right.
The chandeliers started swinging, and light bulbs started falling out. So we literally had to get up and run out of the conference room. So I was looking up to see which part of the fixtures here were going to stay up.
Right, and it was, the scoreboard was swinging. The speakers around it were swinging. Now, Paul is an LA native.
I'm no stranger to earthquakes.
Right?
It's been a while, though. It's been some years since I've been in a significant earthquake. So, when it was going on, I was like, there it is.
Spoiler